And again, you have a test tomorrow. Just make sure that you guys actually do the test tomorrow. Please don't wait. I want to get them graded and back to you. I don't want to wait 3 or 4 days for you guys. So make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to. So the first thing that you're going to do, and we split it up into goals. There's 4 goals. Each goal is outlined in this review. It looks exactly the same. So what you'll see on question 1 of goal 1 is finding the slope. Okay. So here, how do we find the slope on a graph? What do we have to do? Remember, this is, those of you in the class, this is that packet that I just gave you a second ago. So we make our triangle. What is our rise and our run? Is it positive or negative? That's where you guys mess up. Positive or negative? What is this one? Positive. Positive. So what's 2 over 2? 1. That's it. That's all you do. Okay. Rise over run, tell if it's positive or negative. But look at this one. Look at this one. So to get from point to point, if I do rise over run, I don't rise any. I can't go up, but I can go left or right. How much do I run? 3. If you put this in your calculator, guys, check this out. This is a telltale sign. 0 over 3, what do I get? So that means this slope, and we do that with M, is 0. If it happens to be the other way around, and you got 3 over 0, look what happens. That one would be the one that's undefined. So put it in your calculator, and it should tell you how to do this. Is everybody good? Got it? Okay, so watch that. All right, look at your next one. Oh, sorry, y'all. Some stuff under here. Rise over run. How much did I rise?
1.
And I ran. So again, rise over run is 1 over 1, but is it positive or negative?
Negative.
Good. So this one is negative. So it should be -1. So again, just watch those positives and negatives. This is really simple, okay? If you have a question on it, email me or message me on Remind, and I will help you out, okay? How about if you have 2 points? What's that formula?
Y minus y minus, or over x minus.
Good. Y minus y over x minus x. Remember, you have x, y coordinates. Guys, do this on your calculator. So easy. So easy. If you do second and y equals, so second is the blue button. I'll pull it up here in a minute so you guys can see it. Turn it down so it's not so bright. Second and y equals, nope, not second, alpha. Sorry, I've been doing second with stats. Alpha y equals, so the green key, y equals. It'll pull up this fraction, so just hit enter right there, and then type your stuff in. What are your 2 y's? 10 minus, and you said -19. You don't even have to change the signs or worry about that. It'll do it for you, okay? On the bottom, what are your x's? 0 minus 7. When you hit enter, it'll give you your fraction. So your slope is -29 over 7. That's all you have to do. Your calculator will do it for you. All right. So again, the buttons that I do are alpha, y equals, and we hit enter. Our coordinates are always x, y. What are your 2 y's?
-7, 7.
So -7 minus 7. What are your 2 x's?
19.
And that gives you the fraction? -1/2. That's your slope. Your calculator will do it for you. Guys, when you're taking your test, realize I'm not there. So if you happen to look at your review or you happen to watch this video to see how things are done, I will never know. Got it? All right. Next. Number 6, same thing. We're going to go alpha y equals. We have x, y, x, y. What are your two y's? So 5 minus 12 on top. What are your two x's?
Negative
So 2 minus -8. And what is your fraction?
8.
That's it. That's all you have to do. And it's multiple choice, so you'll be able to see it. Guys, make sure you're writing this down because you're going to have to upload this in a few minutes, okay? Whatever we do today, I want to see. All right, write the slope-intercept form of the equation. Slope-intercept is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept, or remember where you start. Okay. So remember to find your slope. We just did that. We do rise over run. You can pick 2 perfect points. So I picked those 2. What's your rise and your run? What's your rise and run? 1 over 1. Is it positive or negative? So your slope is 1. Where did we start? So find the y-axis. Where did we start? So then your equation is y equals, our slope was 1x, and we started at 2. But remember, if it's multiple choice, it won't have the 1. So this would be your answer, okay? Again, I will not know when you're at home if you have this out or not. You should not fail a test. Should not. Okay. Number 8. Where does number 8 start? 4. So start at 4. Remember our recursives start at 4. And then let's see how it changed. We got to find perfect points. So this looks like a perfect point. Do y'all understand what perfect points are? Okay. And then that one is a perfect point. So I'm just going to use those 2. Count the boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes high. 1, 2, 3 boxes long. Is this a positive or a negative? Positive rise over run. So then what's my equation? Y equals 7/3 x, and we started at 4. Perfect. If you get 9 and 10 wrong, I'm going to be very, very mad at you. Why? Because it gives it, yeah, it gives you exactly what we just had. Your slope comes first. Remember, it's y equals your slope x plus your y-intercept. So y equals, what's your slope on number 9?
4.5 or 4.
I got you. 4/5 x. And then where did we start?
5.
Positive 5. It gives it to you. So what's my equation for number 10?
Y equals 7x plus 4.
Good. I like all of y'all answering. Good job. That's goal 1. Think we can handle it? It's a pretty easy goal, right? Pretty easy. Everything is multiple choice tomorrow. Everything. Here's goal 2. So this one says sketch the graph of each line, and you're going to have to pick it out. Now, it's not always going to be AB. It might be A, B, C, D, but I want you to get an idea. Remember, an x-intercept is where it crosses, good, where it crosses the x-axis, and the y-intercept is where it crosses y. So again, these, y'all, these x-intercept, y-intercepts are super easy. So you're looking for an x-intercept of 5. Remember, this is your x-axis. Does it cross the x-axis at 5? Okay, so this one does. What about this one? Does it cross the x-axis at 5? Yes. So we can't really do the x-intercept, so let's look at the y-intercept. This y-intercept is positive 2. Where does this one cross? So it's not this one. This one crosses at positive 2. So that's my answer. That's all you do. There's no work to this one at all. You're just looking for the x and y intercept, okay? All right, so how do I graph number 2? What's wrong with it? Why can't I graph it like it is?
As an example,
How do we get it in y equals form?
you take minus the x.
Move x and then divide by the y. So we have x minus 2y equals 0 as our original problem. We're going to move x, it's a positive, so we're going to subtract it to the other side. This is what will mess you up. Bring down the full negative 2y. Okay, don't forget that negative. Equals, you can put negative x plus 0 if you want to, or you can just have negative x. So that was our move x. Second step is divide by the number with y. Divide everything and watch your signs. Watch your signs. So we get y equals negative over negative makes a, what's the number? 1/2 x. And then 0 over negative 2 is still 0. So this says start where? Both of them start at 0, so that's not helping us at all. But how do we move? Over which way? Right. Up 1, right 2. So this one starts at 0. If we go up 1, do we go right 2? Up 1, right 2. Did it do it? Yeah, this one, if I went up 1 and to the right, I don't have the graph over there. So it's not B, it has to be A. Watch your scales on this, okay? Watch your scales. How do I graph y equals 4?
You should just intercept at the 4 on the line intercept.
There should be a line on the y-axis at 4. So if you look, both of these are horizontal, which is perfect. But this one intercepts at -4. This one intercepts at +4. What if it were x equals, just to throw this out here, you might want to write this down just in case, you know, I'm not with you tomorrow and you happen to use this or it's sitting right next to your test. Is everybody good? Okay. So x equals 4. What would that look like?
Straight line.
Uh-huh. All of them are straight, but it's going to be vertical at 4. Okay, so x equals a number is a vertical line. Y equals a number is horizontal. So be ready for that on your test, okay? Be ready for that. We're going to flip it over. Everybody good? Okay. They want you to write the equation of each line, the equation of the line. So the first thing you would do is see where it starts. So where does this one start? Starts at -4. Remember that has to be the back number. So that counts this one out. All right, so that's the way I would start. And then I would check my slope. So we have a perfect point at -4. And another one at 4, 5, something like that. So then we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, rise, run 4. Everybody got it? All right, so on number 5, your test is set up just like this. A lot of people miss question 5. You shouldn't because you're taking it online. But in class, a lot of people miss 5 thinking it's part of 4, but it's not. It's a whole separate question, okay? So how do I get this into y equals form? What are my 2 steps? Move X and then divide by Y. So we're gonna move X. How do we do that? Minus X. Make sure you bring down the whole -5. That's where people mess it up. Equals -X and a positive 30. How do I solve? Make sure you divide by -5. Keep that negative with it. Okay, you will have an answer that will have like a positive 1/5 and a negative 1/5. So be careful about those, okay? So this is Y. Negative over negative makes a positive 1/5 X. 30 divided by 5 is -6. Make sure you watch those signs because you might have a 1/5 X plus 6. Okay, so watch it. So your answer on this one should have been A. All right, so number 6, we haven't really seen anything like number 6. We have, but we've probably forgotten it. All you're doing is solving for Y. So what do you think the first thing I should do is if I see that set of parentheses? Multiply. So on this one, the first thing you're going to do is distribute. So, you know, I would write this down just in case it happened to be next to my computer while I was taking my test. Okay, distribute. -1/6 times X is -1/6 X. -1/6 times -1, a negative times a negative makes a positive. And then how do I get Y by itself? And that's going to work the same exact way. Get Y by itself. So add 2. Guys, remember you have your calculator. Y equals the -1/6 didn't change. We can do 1/6 plus 2. If it gives me a decimal, I can do math, enter, enter. And what did it give me? That 13/6. So again, to get this was math, enter, enter. Okay. And then your answer would be which one? Be careful. A, why?
Because that's negative.
Has a -1/6. Perfect, perfect. All right, write the slope-intercept formula of the equation of the line through the given point with the given slope. The first thing you need to do is look at your slope. What is your slope?
3.
Which one of these has a slope of 3?
B.
All right, so if you're trying to do it normal, we've already done this before, it's a review. Say what? What? Okay, okay. All right, so your slope was 3. Remember our coordinate X and Y? Your Y is -4. Your X is -2. And then we solve for B so we can get that last number. So if you can eliminate a couple of them, then you have a better chance. We get -4 equals -6 plus B. We're going to add 6 to both sides, and that's where the 2 on the end comes from. But again, mark out all the ones that don't have the correct slope and then go from there. All right, so look at this one. Remember the 2 things you need are the slope and the y-intercept, okay? So how do I find the slope of 2 points? When I do this, remember I told you do alpha y equals. What are your 2 y's? So 5 minus -1. What are your 2 x's?
-3 minus -4.
And we get, oh, what's that?
Undefined.
That is an undefined slope. So that means it's vertical, or you have an x equals. Look at both of your x's. What are they? Negative what? -3. Look at your answers. Which one is your answer? A. If you see some like this, 6, -4, and -1, -4, The same thing is gonna happen. You see how your 4s are the same? They're in the y coordinate area, and they'll be -4. So that one would make your horizontal line, okay? Just to give you another idea of what you might see. All right. So remember the difference in parallel and perpendicular. Parallel means same slope or the same. So if our equation is x equals 0, we're going to write x equals because it's the same. And then what is your x coordinate? +1. So your answer on this one would be A. Always look for the same slope on those. If you find 2 have the same slope, then plug in the coordinate like I showed you and find the B. So again, if it has the same slope, do this. Okay, plug that in and find out what that B is so that you can see. What does perpendicular mean? You guys remember perpendicular? Yeah, so it's not the same slope. I told you it was the flip and change slope. All your perpendiculars should be very simple. You're going to take your slope that you have right now, which is 1/2. You're going to flip it over and then change the sign. So I flipped it over to 2/1. I changed the sign to negative, which means -2. Which one is your answer? Is everybody good? That's a goal too. So the last three, I think, are the hardest ones. Remember, you only have to get a 70 to make 100 in the grade book. So you can miss 3. And again, if you have questions, message me. I'll help you out. All right. Goal 3 review. Goal 3 is the hardest goal on this test. Goal 4 is super easy. Okay. So it says determine the unit cost per hour to rent the bike. That means find the slope. Find the slope. Okay, but they want the slope over 1. So just give me a decimal. Okay. So how do we find the slope? Remember, it's the change in y over the change in x. What's happening down here? What's happening here? So rise over run or change in y over change in x gives you a slope of 4. If you get a fraction, give me the decimal. Again, it's all multiple choice, so you should be okay. All right, so check this one out. How do you get from 22 to 22.5? By 0.5. By 0.5. So we went up 0.5. What's happening on the top?
Going up by 25, 0.25.
Up 0.25. All right. So the change in y is 0.5 over the change in x is 0.25. You have a calculator, use it. 0.5 divided by 0.25 gives you what? 2. That's all you're doing. Don't try to guess that. Do it in your calculator so you know you get it right. All right, I'm gonna skip number 3 and 4 for a minute. We're gonna come back to it though. Those are the 2 most missed problems on the test. So I'm gonna leave it for the end of this section. This one says determine and interpret the slope. So Camden has a bank account that has $150. Each month he added 55. So which one is the slope? 55, because that's how it's changing. So interpret the slope. Each month he adds $55. That's all you got to do. If you say it anyway, it increases by $55. That is perfectly fine. Okay. Flip it over. We'll do 6. I think it's the same problem. Yep. What's the y-intercept? So I'm going to put it back up there so you can see it.
150.
Why is it 150?
That's where it starts.
Because he started with $150. That's your interpret. That's it. Pretty simple. Okay. Consider the following scenario. A bowl has 75 pieces of candy. Jason eats 5 pieces every hour. So what's the slope?
5, -5.
Why is it -5?
Because he takes away
Eats
every hour.
5 pieces per hour. Good. What's your y-intercept?
75.
Y.
That's what he started with.
Okay. And then one more just like it. Terry has 50 math problems to do for homework. She can work 2 problems. Be careful about this. 2 problems every 7 minutes. Let her remaining number of problems be represented as a function of the number of minutes she works. So what's the slope? Be careful. She works 2 problems every 7 minutes. 2 over 7. Don't make it too complicated. It's not that hard. Okay. And then I'm not even going to interpret this one. We're going to move on. What's the y-intercept? 50. That's it. Is everybody good? Flip it back to the front. We'll go over those other ones. These are the ones that are most missed. It says determine the average rate of change for the following function on the interval. Again, if you happen to have this out while you're taking the test, I will never know. Is everybody good? Okay. I hope y'all are understanding what I'm telling you. So both of these are actually x's. So the first thing you're going to do is plug in 6. The second thing you're going to do is plug in 9. And the third thing you're going to do is the slope formula. Okay. So you're going to take your function, -3. You're going to plug in the 6 plus 8. You can use your calculator. -3 times 6 is -18 plus 8 is -10. This is your first y. So we're going to find the slope, but we had to find our y's first. They only gave us x's. We're going to plug in 9. -3 times 9 plus 8. If you can't do that in your head, you have a calculator. -3 times 9 plus 8 gives us -19. That's your second y. You do your slope. What were your 2 y's that you just got?
-10.
-10 minus -19. What were your 2 x's that you used?
6 and 9.
And you put it in your calculator and you get what?
-3.
That's your answer. All right. So what would I do first on this one? Plug in -3. What would I do second? Plug in 0. And then the third thing I would do is my slope. All right, so this one will trick you because it's got the x squared. Be careful. 2, put that -3 in parentheses, squared plus 1. What did I get?
19.
I'm going to do it again and plug in 0. 2 times 0 squared plus 1. And I got 1. Remember, these are your y's. These are your x's. So we're going to do our slope, alpha y equals. I got about 10 minutes left, but we're going to make it, I promise. The next part's easy. Your two y's were 19 minus 1. Your 2 x's were -3 minus 0. And what do we get?
86.
That's your answer. That's goal 3. Goal 4 is your easiest goal. It is super fast. Okay? Everybody ready? Recursive is next equals now. Okay? Next equals now. So for this first one, next equals now. What's the rest of this? Plus 9.
Start at -6.
Yep, start at -6. Watch those signs because it is multiple choice. Watch those signs, okay? Be careful. The next one, next equals now. Plus 5. Start at 7. Perfect. The next part is writing the equation into y equals mx plus b. Your test looks just like this, okay? So what's your equation for number 3? Y equals 4x minus 3. Number 4, y equals?
-1x plus 5.
And your multiple choice may not have the 1. It may just have negative x plus 5. That's it, guys. That is it. All right. So the next part says which table correctly displays the situation. Consider the following scenario. You built a snowman the last time that it snowed and it was 3 feet tall. So where did it start? 3. So all of these, 0, 3, 0, 3, 0, 3 are good. This one says it started at 1/2. We're going to mark that one out. The sun came out the next day and the snowman began to melt at a rate of 1/2 foot per day. 1/2 foot per day. So what does that mean I have to do?
-5.5.
Down 0.5. So which one of these charts go down 0.5? Yeah, that's it. Right? So how would I write that equation? It started at 3 and it went down 0.5.
Start at 3. And then go down.
So how do I write the equation?
Y equals 0.5.
What kind of 0.5?
-1/2
Negative 0.5 or negative 1/2 x, and then
plus 3.
plus 3. We're going to have to do that in a minute. How would I graph that?
Down 1 over 2.
Start at
3.
3, and you said down 1/2, down 1 over 2. Okay, we're going to need that in just a minute. All right, everybody good? I'll flip back and forth for you, but just know that that's how you graph it. I think, again, it's all multiple choice, so you should be fine. On number 9, it said write the equation. We just did that. How do we write a next now for this?
Next equals now.
Perfect, minus 0.5, start at 3. Don't forget to put that negative on there, that minus. All right, so then there are 2 questions, the practical domain and the practical range. And we talked about this, and I told you it's easier on these negatives and it'd be really easy on your test, okay? So what is the practical domain? That means what are the practical x's? If you look, he melts from 0 hours till when? What's this say? 6. He can't melt negative numbers. Everybody understand that? So domain deals with x's, 0 to 6. So your domain, 0 to 6. You're looking at where that graph crosses the x-axis. Same thing for the range. The range deals with y. So we're looking at our y's. The littlest y is going to be 0. What's the highest y going to be? 3. And again, it's based right off that graph. Again, if you have this out next to your computer while you're taking this, I will never know. Is everybody good? All right. So I'm going to stop sharing, stop recording, Zoom.